Well, over the last 4 years, we have noticed in my research that histamine response has skyrocketed. And you have to be careful with your diet, the healthy wrong foods, whether it's the oxalates or the foods that have sulfur in it, or the amyloid proteins in chicken and poultry and conventionally raised beef. They are causing an over-exaggerated histamine response. And I believe this is why a lot of people are seeing more rashes as well. Yes, inflammation in the body and brain fog and allergies and that sort of thing, but rashes and skin breakouts. So how do histamines play into leaky skin?
Yeah, there's a couple of mechanisms here. Number one, what tends to happen is when your gut is dysfunctional, you tend to overexpress the function of certain types of immune cells called eosinophils and basophils, right? So these, instead of macrophages and dendritic cells and so on, so you've got many classes of immune cells that can protect the body from various things. Macrophages, dendritic cells, T cells, and all that are really good, favorable immune responders that can go after bacterial infections, viral infections, toxins, and so on. But then you also have another class, which are very inflammatory immune cells. They tend to be the first actors in a dysfunctional system. They are eosinophils and basophils. And what they do is they create a histamine response. Many people have heard of the IgE response, right? Immunoglobulin E. That's typically thought of as the allergic or histamine response that's unfavorable. So what tends to happen is when you have a dysfunctional gut microbiome, and thereby you have a compromised immune system, you tend to have lower expression of T cells, B cells, macrophages, and you tend to get a higher expression of eosinophils and basophils. So your system tends to react to most things through the histamine, what we call hypersensitivity response, right? So it could be an immediate type hypersensitivity or delayed type hypersensitivity, but nonetheless, your system is going to recruit the eosinophils and basophils to the area and have them respond instead of the macrophage and dendritic cell or T cell, right? And those eosinophils and basophils are going to be releasing histamines, and they release indoles, and they release a number of things that actually create a bunch of unfavorable inflammatory responses, in particular the kinds that are super irritating, very red, causes massive amounts of inflammation, right? So imagine you've got triggers on your skin because of dysbiosis. On top of that, triggers from your diet that drive more inflammation, and then your immune system leans towards this eosinophil basophil response. You're going to experience your immune system triggering that type of response against almost anything, right? So that individual can eat dairy, and dairy proteins being inflammatory for many people, they'll get a histamine basophil-like response, or they can rub up against something or something irritates their skin, and because they have more dysbiosis in the skin, that triggers a histamine basophil-like response, and they might get a really irritating red patch there, right? So it really goes back to what part of your immune system is really functioning at that point.